Good morning. This is December 9th. This is our Monday morning mindset call. And I'm going to give guys an opportunity to get in. Wanted to say awesome December so far. Good morning. Good morning. And so I'm going to do, hey, how you doing, Cheryl? I'm going to do some talking. We're going to listen to like a 5 or 6 minute video. And then basically on this call, I'm going to go over some of the things that I've kind of touched on over the weekend about goal setting. And so this Monday morning call is really going to have some fundamental ideas of setting goals. And it's really important in trading to actually have those goals, because I think sometimes we look at what we want to accomplish and we go from a 0 to 100 instead of going from 0 to 10, 0 to 20, and making it happen that way. But right away, I want to go over this video about, when you're setting goals and the universe has, ideas, there's a way that you need to operate. And we're gonna go over this video, and then after that, I'm gonna take over. I'm gonna share today. I'm gonna upload a goal setting document that I've had for kind of the business coaching side. But I think traders should also have this type of goal setting. And then we're gonna walk through that for the next 24 minutes, and we're gonna listen to this video for the next 6, just to kind of get it started and kind of keep the same energy going that we normally have. So let me get it started right now. You guys can't hear if I got lotion on my face or anything, type in the comments. All right, let's get it started.
The school system is actually teaching people to be poor. The school system will never teach you about money. The school system is designed to teach you to be an employee or a doctor or a lawyer, a specialist, but never about money. My father was the head of education, PhD, all that stuff. I go home and ask him, so why don't we learn about money in school? And he looked at me and said, because the government doesn't let us teach that subject. The government tells us what we can teach and what we can't teach. And I thought that was strange. And I said, but aren't we going to school to learn about money? He says, no, your job is to get a job. Poverty is passed on. It's taught in your families. And middle class is taught in families. And so the people right now who are sitting at home, who are struggling financially or worried about money or unhappy, they may be making a lot of money, but unhappy with what they're doing, it was probably taught to you. Your super ego was taught, get a job, work hard, or you'll never be rich, or the rich are evil, or whatever.
And until you change your mindset,
Correct.
Money won't help you, right?
Correct.
And we see that with people that win the lottery, people that make more money, they still have the same problem,
right?
Because they have that poor man's soul.
Correct. If you're poor, you'll always be poor.
That's really hard for people to understand.
Yeah, the money will disappear that fast. Just like most pro athletes, they make millions of dollars, and but 65% are bankrupt 5 years later. It's because they come from poor families. Now you tell them that, they get very angry at you. It's not, it's the rich fault. It's you guys ripped me off. Government ripped me off. But unfortunately, what Mr. Lipton was saying, it's passed down genetically. The moment I pay you, you think like an employee. That's the trap. Entrepreneurs work for free. The moment you accept a paycheck, your brain goes dead. As long as you're hungry, you'll think. You see people say, well, why don't you give the poor money? So the only problem with that is it just creates more poor people.
Give a man a fish, he fishes for the day, or eats for the day.
Yeah, you give a man a fish, you get a lot of people who want more fish, Well, you teach them to fish.
But you are the Robin Hood of knowledge, because I see you giving this knowledge out, and
yeah.
Do the rich people cringe and say, don't tell them that, Robin?
Yes. Don't tell people what you know. Right. Keep them poor. Poor will always be amongst us, because it starts up here. It's in their words, and the words become flesh. When they say, I can't afford it, or I can't do that, they go down. They become what they say. And I meet so many people, I can't afford it. You think I'm made of money? My PhD daddy says, what do you think I have made of money? I can't afford that. And my rich dad would say, that's why he's poor. Poor people say, I can't afford it. I can't do that. I don't have time. Because it's an escape. It's an escape. You know what I mean? It's easy to say, I can't afford it. Oh, I'm too tired. Oh, I can't go to the gym. You know, when you could go to the gym, but no, I can't. Truth is, I'm just too lazy to go to the gym.
And you play it safe and you don't introduce new risks into your life. And so
I have job security.
Right. And your rich dad used to say what instead of I can't afford it?
How can I afford it? How can I do that? You know, what would it take, or why should I do that? A question opens the mind, a statement closes the mind. See, when you say I can't afford it, the mind shuts down and you become what you say. You know, people say, well, money is not that important to me. Then if money is not that important to you, money is not important to you. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't care about money. The money doesn't care about you. You know, the word does become flesh. Well, I'll never be rich. Or the favorite one is the rich are greedy. It's the poor that are greedy. You know, if you think about it, because to be rich, you have to give something. You know, you have to. I have to produce books and games, and I purchase real estate. I provide housing, provide jobs, and all that. That's why I'm rich. But greedy people produce nothing. Oh no, it's the rich that are greedy. And I'm going, hey, sports fans, you know, you point a finger forward, 3 are pointing backwards. And so, as we know, there's a big attitude problem against the rich today. We all have fear. You know, to be true, we all have fear. It's just how you deal with it. You know, Einstein said, you know, imagination is more important than knowledge, but knowledge empowers imagination. And what most people lack is real business knowledge, like accounting, you know, like debt, like taxes. You got to know that stuff, but they don't teach it in school to anybody. You know, people who are afraid of making mistakes like they teach in school, they don't ever grow. Because spirituality is there's good and there's bad, there's right and there's wrong, there's up and there's down. Most people only want to be right, they only want to be positive. Well, you can't have that. That's not reality. Every time I failed, it was like, goodness, okay, what have I learned? And the average person, the reason they're poor is they haven't failed. You know, they play it so safe. They haven't made any mistakes like they taught in school. That means they don't learn anything. That's why the school system is actually fundamentally corrupt. It's anti-education. And I think what most people do is they let their parents or their friends talk them out of life. So afraid of failing. But failing is how we succeed. Our schools punish you for making mistakes. That's why we have so many people who are so afraid of admitting they make mistakes or afraid of failing.
All right, awesome. Let's get back in. So, you know, that's something that, you know, we've kind of identified, you know, long before this video, is that, you know, we're learning things that they really don't teach in school, right? Because, you know, some people may or may not agree with the video that, you know, poor people want to, they're going to stay poor. And the same thing with the kind of trading mentality, you know, like if we don't actually learn how to trade, doesn't matter if someone gives you 100,000, 200,000, you know, you're not gonna be able to maintain it, just because you never kind of learned the foundation of trading. So for 2020, you know, I wanted to kind of go over the things that, you know, I was, you know, trying to establish, and then also give you guys the kind of blueprint on the, you know, I think I've paid like $700 to go to a goal setting thing on Saturday, and I want to share some of the things that I got from it, so maybe it can help you guys on your plan, right? And you know, one of the things that is, you know, you cannot become wealthy without being educated. You know, you're not gonna be able to be a good trader without being educated. It's not the way the universe works. You know, you don't get the money, you don't get the win, you don't get the success, and then you get educated. And that's where a lot of, you know, the poor mentality, that's what happens. You know, they expect to be able to get rich and make and not have to go to work and not have to really do anything and learn anything, and then they expect it, once they have some success, then they expect to be able to learn. And be like, oh, you know what, after I do this for a while, then I really focus. And it really doesn't work like that. Someone is not on mute right now. All right. So, this 2020, this plan is what I have for, kind of the BAM. But I'm going to share, this is just basically a goal planning worksheet, for 2020. And I'm going to get this to you guys. But, in the meantime, I want to go over a lot of the lessons that, I had. And so maybe this will help some of the guys. And, really, last night I just typed up a bunch of the notes that I had. And these notes are really kind of just gonna walk through it, right? So, one of the first things that we kind of went over is like there's three type of folks, right? Three type of people that, just in general. And of course, this is with a business mastermind, but I think it applies to trading because at the end of the day, that being a trader, we are, you are a small business. You are a business person, and I want you guys to kind of get that through that if you're trading and it's really like you're starting a trading business and you're learning all those things. So entrepreneur, a manager, and a technician, that is really the three type of folks that are out there, and technician is pretty much like what we are or what I am right now, right? Because, I'm actually, hosting a mindset call. I'm also actually trading, and I'm also doing the business. So I'm actually a technician that actually works with their hands, right? And they do the work. A manager is really someone that's just overseeing the progress of someone else's. An entrepreneur does the work, but he also trains, and he has other people do it for him. Is after he's trained. And there's nothing wrong with either, all three of them, but there's a benefit from actually doing the work. The only one that's not really going to do the work is the manager, and he can be replaced by the technician or the entrepreneur, right? And so as a trader, that's really why some people, when they come in, I kind of keep them away from automated trading, because like you don't want to just be the manager. You want to be able to one, train other people and actually do it yourself. And eventually technicians run out of time. Entrepreneurs are worried about time. The managers are comfortable being in that middle spot. All right. So, what people learn online, it's probably they retain about 15 to 30%, maximum of what they learn online. When they go to a live event, it goes up and they actually have to do the work. Not when you sit in the audience. When you sit in the audience, you don't really, it's still the same thing it's almost like learning online. But when you're actually doing the work and actually writing things down, you retain about 80%, right? I mean, you're still not retaining 100%, but you're retaining about 80%. So, the goal setting, the morning formulas, the, actual trading, there's no replacement. When you're doing it, you're going to retain about 80%. When you're setting up the charts, and when you're going through that process, you're going to maintain a lot more of it. And so, I want to congratulate everybody that's here. One thing we talked about is, the amount of people that actually show up. I think over, I know everyone in the Courtney's group has seen me. Everyone, I had a Facebook group with 50,000 people back in 2017. So I know that over 50,000 people have seen DCG, right? And you guys are the actual ones that joined, and out of the people that joined, maybe 80 people right now is active. You're the only ones on this call. And so that's about correct, right? It's only 10 to 15% of those people is going to show up, and showing up is 50%, right? That's 50% of the job. G.I. Joe used to say is, basically being president is half the battle. And, the people that showed up this morning, guys say, hey, well, I can't do this, I can't do that. There's a lot of can't. And so for your goals for 2020, I'm just kind of walking down the what did I get out of this goal setting? And so showing up is important, even when no one's watching, right? Because it's making you present. You know, if only 15 to 20, 30% learn online, 80% actually, learn showing up. You know, being present is actually telling your mind and telling your subconscious that you're trying to get to a certain place. And it's important. And so, those are normally the people that's going to take action, right? You know, the people that show up. A person don't just disappear and then expect to do everything. So, congratulations on making the call, right? And then, when it comes to trading, it's the same thing. It's like, just being in the market, 20 minutes a day is actually gaining and giving you guys experience. So when it comes to going in and you said, all right, with 2020, most of us in trading, you have to like money and you have to want it, right? You're never gonna get rich thinking money is the root of all evil. You're never gonna, attract the thing you want saying that you don't want it. So all of us here, we do want to make money, right? And making money in trading and in life, it starts with doing the small things. So if I ask you how much do you want to make in 2020, that's the number that, in its goal setting, you want to have that number and you want to be delivered. Like, how much do you want to make? And then when I say how much you're going to make, whether it's in trading, whether it's in business, you should do this for everything that you have. It's like, well, damn, how, what is it going to take? Because you got, one of the things that we talked about is like you have guys saying, hey, I want to make $1 million and or I want to make, 300,000. And they're saying that to please outside people. They really don't believe it. They really don't have a plan. They're saying that because it sounds cool. And so, we're not going to talk about that, but like a lot of times we say things for other people to hear. And that's not the idea, right? If I ask how much you're going to make, you may say, hey, I need to make 10,000. And then it's like, all right, the next question is like, all right, well, how are you going to do that? Like, how are you really going to do that? And this is what the goal setting document is designed to do. It says, all right, well, how are you going to do that? And then how much do you need to make today? Right? You break your goal down into months and then today. And then, if you say, so, well, I need to make, $1,000 a day if I wanted to hit my goal. It's like, well, man, we can't even start at $1,000 if you don't have a history of making good trades. So now the goal is that, all right, I need to make at least one good trade, not every day, just once a week to start that goal, because you got to have a plan to get there, and you can start that today, right? And so, you have the one thing that you want to accomplish in 2020, and we talked about just money in general, right? Helped you make 10 or 15 grand, 20 grand, and I hit that goal. Well, every solution causes another problem. So people think, oh man, I just need the money and it will fix everything. We talked about every solution. Every time you figure out something, it causes another problem. And which is good, because before you even had 10, 20,000. Now you have it. And now it's like, all right, well, how you gonna handle your accounting? Because that's one of the things that Kiyosaki talked about, right? That people don't know how to manage your money, right? And so you have to get educated on that side as well. And so if you make yourself a promise to hit the goals, understand that you want to be able to address everything that comes with that. Everything that comes with that. There'll be a conflict, right? I want to leave my job now because, this is for me and now I have more time. And then that changes the way you got to your goal in the first place. So, in life, there's no such thing as something for nothing. People want to be successful, but they don't want to put in the work. They don't want to deal with certain issues. And if you face that, there's no such thing as something for nothing. You have to spend money, which is circulating money. Money has to exchange hands. You're not going to save yourself by saving, right? And that is in business, that's in life. People think they're going to save their way, to millions of dollars, where you're basically losing time and you causing other problems, right? Which is you may be working yourself to death and then you get to 65 and now you have health problems. So there's no way to get something for nothing And so you want to ingrain that in you so you know that, hey, I'm going to take action steps. I have goals for 2020, but it's not going to be for nothing. I'm not just going to hit them. I'm going to have to give up something, or I'm going to have to do something to get it. Right. And so, it's okay to say that you don't have an exact plan, but you're going to take action and you're going to jump on opportunities to get there. It's all right to say that. A lot of times it's like, all right, I'm going to be open every day. I'm going to say that it's okay. I don't have the exact plan, but I will take action when I get the opportunity. Because now you're telling the universe that, you're ready to get the answers and you're ready to take action. And sometimes, through our goals is we want to be able to take those actions. A lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people, the entrepreneurs and the technicians, they were scared to make moves based on pleasing people they should not even be concerned with. So when it comes to trading, when it comes to your goal, when it comes to, just something as simple as going live on social media, sometimes we hold back because we're, afraid of disrupting or having confrontation with someone that you don't even know. You're scared to go live, and if they're going to judge you and criticize you, it's like, well, they're not your audience, they're not your customer. They're not paying your bills. They have no impact on what you're trying to do in life. And so your goals have to be so much more stronger than a external influence. And so we talked about family members and social influence. If you never made 15 grand and now you put on a goal on Facebook, look, I have a goal to make 50,000 a month. And then of course you're gonna have people. Some people don't post that because they're like, well, they're gonna call me out, or they're gonna be like, you ain't never made 15 grand and you're trying to get 50 grand. Like, who are you? And people stop. And this is a declaration. And your goals will never be met because you're worried about the wrong things. You're spending energy on external forces. So for your goals for 2020, you can put the biggest goals out there, right? And then you put a plan together to get there. And maybe you don't hit that goal, but your plan and your actions and your mindset is like, that's for you. That's for you to accomplish. So when it comes to trading, man, so many people get get doubted. When I was actually trading for firms, and I had the same experience in my house. And my wife, she wanted to be a trader, and she was like, "It's too much work and it's hard." And it's like, well, I had to get the education first, and you had to put in the work. So it happens, and when you try to reach your goals, you don't have to worry about that. And that's what the environment's for. And that's why I tell guys to post up in DCG, the community, because these are like-minded people, and everyone here understands what you're going through. So once you have that clarity, things get easier, and now you're in an environment to grow. You can't put your environment, you can't go do it on your own and not be in the right soil, right? So that soil they're gonna dampen you. You're not gonna get the right sunlight. So it's almost imperative you make a commitment to be around the environments that want you to grow, right? That want you to hit your goals. So if you go through 2019, one of the things that they had us do is like, all right, we hear the plan for 2020, but everyone pull out their phone and start from January 1st and go through your phone and look at your photos, right? And then you realize how much time is being spent on what you're capturing, and if you don't capture any memories, you also know that as well. And so that was an exercise that, some of the memories was good, right? And some of the things that you capture on your phone, or maybe on screenshots, it allows you to know what you're being focused on. And then it kind of gives you an idea that, hey, 2020, I want to transition. I want to do this more. You want to look at your wins and your losses. So that's another thing that, we did. So the first thing was about us reevaluating last year, or, in this case, it'll be this year. reevaluating what we learned this year, things that we can improve on, where we're proud of ourselves. And a lot of people, when it came to being proud of themselves, it was like, of course, in this area, it wasn't as quick as everything else. And that was because, guys that are driven by success, they really are driven by the fear of failure. So guys are hitting crazy goals, but that wasn't what they were saying. They were saying other things, they didn't fail or things out of there. Then what made you feel most uncomfortable? For me, this was someone outside. It was my wife coming in, going through what I had in crypto, what I had in finances, and that made me uncomfortable. And, that was something that, it's like just that one revelation for me. It was like, all right, going in 2020, why did that make me uncomfortable? And so, asking yourself that is going to help you in the next year, right? Goal setting for the next year, same thing. What investments are you going to make? Because you know that you can't get to your goals without investing in yourself or into something. Goals to do for yourself. That was one, and then this was the good part, right? The strategy, the implementation, because you can't set the goals unless you plan to implement it. And so let's see how far we got. So one of the things is folks fail to maintain their own perspective on things. When you start asking other guys and what they see, what I see, that is, it's hard to implement a strategy when you're not seeing through your own lenses, right? So that's one of the things that has to be on your goal setting is, how do I, see the world through my own, what do I really think about trading, And so one of the goals is like, hey, you got to get back to simple trade. The alligator, when it goes up and it crosses below, you exit. Like, that's one of the things that, I want to focus on, is making things simple again. Because most of the guys that are successful, they're able to explain what they do, make it really simple and concise. If we're winning in trading, whatever, a lot of times it's simple. We're buying when it's down and selling when it's a little bit higher. Like, you get back to getting things simple, right? And then also, even with the morning formula, like, we set up all these different procedures. A lot of people start feeling like they're failing because they can't get everything done, right? And so you may have to modify that. If I wake up at 5 o'clock and I'm able to do it, or 5:30, and I'm able to go through my morning formula or jump on these calls, that's really me, right? That I can do it. You may need to do a modified version, because you may be thinking like, damn, I'm trying to do this every morning, and it makes you feel bad because the whole day you didn't do it. And I get on here and I talk about, hey, you do your morning formula, you do this, and it's like, that's from my perspective, right? But for you, you must say that I had to do a modified version. I may not do it until 10 o'clock because, me missing it makes me feel like a failure, right? It makes me feel like I can't get it done. So even with the trading, other guys are winning, and you're looking at other people's results, but you may have to say, you know what, I just need to do one good trade a week, and then I'll do one good trade a day. And then from there, I'll just try to make $50 that day. And so, like, your goals, make those short-term goals where you can hit them so you don't get discouraged so fast. People go get on a diet every new year, and they'll start with, I need to lose 20 pounds. And it's like, bro, you've been fat the whole year and you've been eating. Man, just try to lose 5 pounds a month and start, right? And then you can work your way up. But get the 5 pounds in 30 days, and that's something you can do, right? So that was another big takeaway, right? Is don't set these goals so cold or so awkward where you're not gonna be able to accomplish it. All right. Such people make quick decisions. So in trading, good traders able to make decisions. And it's not about quick decisions, it's just about the decisions. Be able to make decisions. Some people can't identify what they want to eat. They don't know because they're thinking about everything else external. So when you're with your spouses, you focus on, like, look, if we're going out and we need to eat, they ask you, what do you want? Just make a decision, right? Just start practicing. Make a decision. Don't ask them what they want after they ask you what you want. Just make a decision. That's something to even, because a bad decision can be corrected, but if you don't make a decision, you know, you're not even winning. You're not showing up, right? So you got to make a decision. Okay. And all right, this is, I know we coming on 6:30. So, you know, it's if you're working on a business and it's not making money, then why are you doing it? Right? Well, why are you still there? You know, when it comes to trading, you know, it's the same thing. It's like, all right, you're not making money, but do you want to learn it? And do you have a why? And because, you know, if you're not making money, then you have to establish, like, you know, how you're going to get there and what are you going to do? Right. And this is not for me. I'm not trying to, I want everybody to stay in the group. I don't want everybody to get out. But for 2020, it's like, man, I have to have smaller goals. I have to have goals where I can hit, where it's like, you know what, I'm just going to make one good trade. And then the money will come, you know, but a lot of guys are focused on setting it up, and where it's like, hey, they trying to get the quick fix. And that's like the poor mentality of Kiyosaki. You know, they're chasing the money so bad that they're missing out, and they're not going to be able to get the education where they can actually fish. So, you know, the attachment to money is almost detrimental, because then you miss all the lessons, right? And so, of course, you in it to make money, you start a business to make money, but when have you ever been taught? When have you ever been taught to do it? And so that's the mentality of what he was saying, is that, you know, poor people expect to get it without having to put in anything, without having to do anything. So for 2020, your goals will be a lot clearer, and you know what you have to get done. You know what you have to learn. And then you have a why. So one of the examples we had is, if you have a 2x4, or 2x4, right, in the middle of the room, we say, hey, can you walk through this room, balance on this, at the end of it, I'll give you $1,000, right? So you have a 2x4, we're in an office, you know, you're in your house, we put the 2x4 on, walk from one wall to the next. You know, who would do it for $1,000? Everybody raise their hand. And they'll walk on this 2x4, they put it on the floor, everybody can balance, everybody feel comfortable. And now the same 2x4 says, all right, you know, what you guys do it for $2,000? Everybody raise their hand. Yeah, man, I'll walk on that. Now we're gonna put this, is like, all right, would you do it for $50,000? Of course, everybody raise their hand. Like, hold on. We're gonna put this on a 100-story, you know, from one building to the next, and you need to walk across it. It's the same board that you had on the floor at your house, in his office, but now we're gonna put it up, you know, 100 stories, and would you do it for 50 grand? And yeah, of course, how many hands went up? 0. Because they're like, I'm not gonna walk across a 100-story from one building to the next building on this 2x4 and risk falling off and risk dying for 50 grand. You know, and now this is, you know, it's like, it's not good. Everybody in here is businessmen. They're like, 50 grand is not that much for me to risk my life, right? And so their why isn't strong enough. But now if you say, hey, you know what? We're gonna put your family, we're gonna put your kids and your business partners, and they're gonna be in this building, and the building is burning. Would you take the opportunity, and would you go across this board? And it's the same 2x4, everyone pretty much says yes, right? And that's because their why was strong. Like, you know, they couldn't, you know, people were saying, I can't live with myself if they burned up and I'm sitting here at the other side and I'm scared to go across this 2x4, right? So their why. So it's not about the money. You know, it's like, is your why strong enough? You know, how bad do you want to hit your goals for 2020? You know, do you have a why that's strong enough? And a lot of people don't have the why, and that's why you're not making money. It's because you're not looking at it like, you know, you know, you just want to do it. You want to make some extra money. You know, you don't have to. You just want to. And once you identify what your whys are, it makes some goals a lot easier. And once you identify your why, it makes the goals a lot easier. You will be a successful trader when you have a strong why. And the why is not just it, it's the mentality, it's the mindset that comes with that why. Like, I have to do this, you know, and then you won't miss your morning formula. Then you won't, then you'll be focused on making the right trade. You won't take those extra chances, because it's reminding you every morning of what your why is. So, you know, what are you going to do? Why are you doing it? How are you going to get it done? and that is 2020, the reflective of how we should go through this goal setting. So, I think on that note, I think I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna stop on that note because I know it's 6:36 and some of you guys have to get back. But if this is powerful and going through this exercise, listening to this video, whoever wants it, I'll send this out to you, or I'll put it in the group, and you guys can take it and use this video to kind of actually build out some of the things that you want to do. And and that's the coaching, right? The coaching and keeping you accountable. That's what the most important thing was that I've taken away. It's like, the guys, they got my goals, and they keep you accountable, and I want to keep you guys accountable as well. And you have to ask yourself, what are you going to do to get there? Because I want to help you accomplish the goals, and everyone in the group that's going to participate in the 2020 goal setting, want to help you get there. That is the soil. That's the environment. And I got you, Wendy. And so, yeah, I'll put this up. And this is, and this is one of the things that I do with the guys that is going to join me in the business coaching aspect. It's like, you got to have that vision already mapped out. You got to have that vision. And then you got to have that why defined. So why they're in business, what is your vision? Because you can't get there unless you plan it out and you've written it down. People want to do it in their head. It's not going to work. You need to physically write it down. And so that's why I spent the day yesterday doing is all my notes and everything I had. Went in and physically wrote it down. And so sometimes you have to stop. Like for me to scale up, for you to scale up as a business, maybe you have to stop business for a month to train other people. Or you can continue to be a technician. Right? And so, I mean, and then you can't just be a manager, you have to have done it. And so, for me, I have to like slow down and actually train people, right? Or they're not going to get it. And if you're trying to train an employee, then if you don't sacrifice, they're not going to get it. You're not going to have any help. You're going to be stuck doing everything yourself. So, in life, with your relationships, you got to give some responsibilities to some other people if you have that help. You got to be able to delegate and let somebody go so you can actually accomplish some of the other things that's in your goals. So, this is going to help a lot of people. If I don't know a lot of people, but the people that's in our group that's around DCG, it's going to be more simpler. And we're going to get things accomplished, and your trading is going to get better, right? Because, it has to start. We have to break it down. It's like, just making a good trade. Don't ask me about how much you think you're going to make. Like, just make a good trade. Get it out. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. And the 20 people that showed up out of 100, that was about right. So you guys are making an effort to be here, and hopefully you got a lot of value out of this call. And I'll share this goal setting with you, and refer back to this recording. All right, man. Thank you, guys. Signing off.